2 months ago, during the 2022-2023 school year, the Texas Association of Sports Officials created the three-strike rule. It went into effect 3 months ago, meaning that if 3 incident reports are filed at a school, the school loses their officials for all sporting events. The school gets 7 days to find a plan to find a resolution of abuse directed to the officials. This happened. This incident happened earlier yesterday when I was at a football game. Now, if you want to find a 3-strike policy, then so like whether you're dribbling or kicking a ball in the field, stadium, or court, or a coach on the sidelines, or perhaps a spectator at a team on, there are new guidelines for games that the TAOSO has set. They're hoping to protect sports officials like umpires and referees from physical and verbal abuse by setting some new consequences. Like, still based on 3 strikes, if a school has more than three physical or verbal abuse incidents, the President's Council will review them. The Vice President of the Football Division said they'll send out a letter to the school that they have a certain amount of time to change the culture. If the school doesn't respond, teams could lose the privilege of playing at home games for any sports. However, Hillard said that the TASO doesn't have the power to suspend players for the season. He can disqualify them from the game. He added they get reports every week and review hundreds a year. Well, CCISD's District Senior Director of Athletes, Brendan Marshall, said they implemented the rules last year. Like, just because you buy a ticket doesn't entitle you to be able to say and do whatever you might want to do at a stadium or inside a gym. She said the guidelines lowered abuse at games. Abused players and spectators can face a minimum of 2 year suspension from games. So anyone that we do ask to leave the stadium, we're going to get the information of who they are and what school they might be affiliated with, because, like I say, they're going to have to meet with the principal of that school. So let's look at that policy from Ashley Gonzalez. Because she has her take on this, and I'm going to have my take on it in just a minute.
Hey there, South Texas. I'm Ashley Gonzalez. With fall sports already kicking off, Texas officials from all over the state met at Tuloso Midway Saturday morning to go over some rules. One of those, a new rule that adds a layer of protection for them against fans who are out of control.
Fourth down.
It's hard to get officials, and when you get them, it's hard to keep them because they get abused out there on the field. They get abused by the fans. So we're just doing something to try to protect the officials.
If you've been an athlete or a fan, you've likely heard yelling towards referee officials.
There's no way somebody gets on this field without being certified. So, again, everybody needs to understand that we're out there to administer the game with the rules.
we're having where fans are actually following officials to the car and threatening them. So we just got to put a stop to it.
The Texas Association of Sports Officials created a new policy that could remove officials from a school.
If any school gets more than 3 incident reports reported in any sports combined, then it will go to a president's council to review.
After 3 strikes, the school has to come up with a plan to stop the abuse.
If it's satisfactory, then we'll see how it works. If it's not, then TASO will actually pull all officials from all sports until they correct the issue and the culture at that school.
The policy is brand new and already in effect.
You could have 2 in soccer and 1 in baseball, but it would affect all your home games for that school, where we would not have officials at that school. So that's the last thing we want to do.
And no officials means no game. This policy covers all of Texas.
We cover everything from Port Lavaca, Victoria, down to Kennedy, Refugio, Three Rivers, down to Rivera, Benavides, those areas, everything in between is our area.
They say this policy is also a push at recruiting officials and keeping them as well. That'll do it for your sports. I'm Ashley Gonzalez. Back to you.
And it probably happens because when I was at a home game, I think it probably happened. A player got injured and they suddenly went back to fourth quarter right away. And I'm like, maybe this is very similar to that 3-strike policy. We don't know. But we'll keep you posted what's been going on. I got a lot to say, but I'm going to hold off on that. But I'm not going to hold off on the hazing policy. I'm not going to hold off on my hazing stories. You're about to meet a group of parents who came forward to tell their story about their sons or daughters who went through fraternities. As we talked about on the season premiere of the show, I've dedicated this season to end the silence on college hazing. I've also created a Facebook group to help explain this. We'll hear from the parents when we return. Stay with us. Meet the 11 parents who are united in grief right after their sons were in a fraternity hazing and died during those hazings because of alcohol, because of those hazing incidents. Now, one of the main goals I have throughout this season is to end the silence on college hazing, and this is exactly exactly similarity. So what do they have to say about all this? I mean, remember, we've looked into all these cases involving hazings or fraternities or sororities. So
It's our son Ryan, who was killed due to idiocy at a hazing event.
This is my beautiful son, Colin Wyatt. He was 18 years old when he died from fraternity hazing.
This is our son Tim, who died as a result of a fraternity hazing event.
This is Adam Oakes. Death was due to a hazing incident, alcohol poisoning.
7 young men, all victims of hazing rituals like this.
I am telling you, no parent should ever send their child off to campus, to college, and not have them come home.
They were all told that they had to go down to the basement. I think they were all blindfolded.
This surveillance video shows a rare look at a booze-fueled hazing event, common in frats across the country, known as Big Brother Night or Pledge Dad Reveal Night.
It was the Pledge Dad Reveal Night. They were handed a bottle of alcohol. In Danny's case, he was handed a bottle of Tito's, and they were told to drink it.
That's Mary Pat and Tom Santuli's son, Danny, with a liter of vodka.
I believe it was taped to his hand.
Cops say Danny's pledge dad forced him to drink the equivalent of 20 shots, plus do a full beer bong. He later went into cardiac arrest from alcohol poisoning. In the video shared with us by the Santuli's attorney, David Bianchi, you can see Danny fall over. He later slides off this couch onto his head.
They don't know what to do. They're afraid to call 911, so they don't. And they pick him up. They drop him on his head. surveillance video, you would think, would incentivize these guys not to do this stuff. But they do it anyway.
And this is Danny today, wheelchair-bound from permanent brain damage.
Danny is the most horribly injured fraternity pledge ever in the United States. He's blind, cannot speak.
He lost his vision and he cannot talk.
Jack and Wendy Abell says their son Ryan went through a similar frat hazing ritual at the University of Nevada in Reno.
It was a Big Brother reveal night where each of 30 pledges were handed a bottle of booze and a full 750 milliliter bottle of alcohol. In Ryan's case, it was 100 proof. And they were expected to drink the bottle. The goal was to also get them all drunk and vomiting.
Extremely intoxicated, Ryan later died from head trauma after falling down a flight of stairs. Timothy Piazza's parents say he fell down a flight of stairs after he was told to drink 18 shots in 82 minutes while pledging a frat at Penn State University.
It's not the same hazing that happened 20, 30 years ago. It is not just streaking and swallowing goldfish. It is hard alcohol, deadly hard alcohol.
We have a friend who's unconscious. He hasn't moved. He's probably in the ambulance.
Was there any alcohol or anything involved, do you know?
Yes, there is.
His parents say Timothy lay there in distress for over 12 hours before brothers called 911. According to published reports, there have been close to 80 college students who've died in hazing incidents connected to Greek life in the past 15 years. The vast majority of them related to alcohol abuse.
Adam Jeffrey Oakes, age 19, died suddenly on Saturday, February 27th, 2021 in Richmond, Virginia.
Just last year, freshman Adam Oakes died from alcohol poisoning after his big brother forced him to drink a handle of booze in under an hour.
My son was joining a fraternity, and his big brother bought him a handle of alcohol and coerced him to drink it in under an hour.
Andrew was Adam's big brother.
As part of a plea agreement, several members of the now permanently banned frat are speaking out publicly about what they did to Adam.
I was charged with misdemeanor hazing, and I think that was an accurate charge on my part. I think being the president of the fraternity, I had this position of power, and I chose the wrong path and the wrong road.
The video is part of an upcoming hazing docuseries called Protect This House.
In 2021, there were 6 deaths due to hazing.
Many of these parents now travel the country speaking to pledges and students, urging them to report hazing incidents.
Hazing's only reported 5% of the time.
Tyler Perino is one of the few to report it.
Big Brother night, that was the most I had ever drank in that short amount of time in my life.
He says on his Big Brother night at Delta Tau Delta, frat brothers hazed him with a bottle of whiskey and a 6-pack, and then paddled him repeatedly.
So I was taken out on a stretcher from my dorm to the ambulance and then taken to the hospital.
His blood alcohol was nearly 3 times the legal limit.
It was the worst nightmare come true. We obviously are very lucky that he's still here with us.
Today, he and his mom, Lori, and all these folks want pledges to know it's okay to say no and walk away. And more importantly, not be afraid to call 911 if something goes wrong. In Danny Santuli's case,
no one called 911.
The Santuli's attorney says Andrew's Law in Florida, named after Andrew Kofi, a pledge who died from alcohol poisoning after being forced to drink an entire bottle of whiskey, should be enacted nationwide.
It says that if you are the first person to call 911 after a hazing event where somebody's in trouble, even if you're the person that did the hazing, even if you're the one who handed them the bottle of alcohol, if you're the first one to call 911 to try to save his life, or if you're administering CPR and trying to help him while help is on the way, you will not be prosecuted. You will have immunity.
How many of you believe that your loved one would be okay today if someone had called 911 earlier? Is there any way to stop fraternity hazing?
I think
they need to tell their kids to understand all our stories, to understand what happened, because, kids think, well, it can't happen to me. It does happen, it did happen, it will happen again until things change.
My goal, and many of us parents, our goal is to speak to college students, to high school students, so that we can raise awareness. We do not want any other families in what is in this club of parents who have frankly lost their child senselessly to hazing. We want to make a difference, we want to educate, and we want to make sure that this does never happen again.
And we'll just keep fighting and we'll never give up.
The North American Interfraternity Council, which oversees fraternities, says they have spent enormous resources to educate students about the dangers of hazing and say they're working to strengthen current criminal and civil hazing penalties around the country.
You may have heard about these hazing dangers. Up next, we're going to tell you about these hazing dangers, and then theme park dress code. Watching a clip of Dr. Phillips on Facebook, and I'm going to give you my take on it. Stay with us. Now I want you to listen to the dangers and the consequences of hazing. For the person being hazed, the media is full of stories reporting one of the most possible consequences of hazing, death. While death is a horrendous possible outcome, the far more examples are less severe but still life-altering consequences. One study shows that 71% of these who are hazed suffer from negative consequences, which may include physical, emotional, and or mental instability, sleep deprivation, loss of sense of control and empowerment, a declining grades in coursework, relationship with friends, significant others, and family suffer. Post-traumatic stress disorder, the loss of respect and interest to being part of life or the organization, erosion of trust with the group members, illness or hospitalization with additional effects on family and friends. Those who are accused of hazing may face legal actions up to and including jail time and fines, university action, membership, and organizational sanctions. Personal impact would be decline, relationships with friends, loss, etc. I mean, it's probably for student life. So, what needs to be done? Well, for colleges, they need to be having these, need to have no hazing policies. And what needs to really happen here is that parents, if you're gonna, like, if your child says, I'm gonna go to college, have them ask tough questions. That way they know you're very serious. Like, they want to know, your child wants to go to college to be safe. Ask hard questions. That way you know you're being very serious. Like, what's your policy on hazing? What's your policy in these fraternities? They'll tell you. They'll explain it to you. That way they can say, like, they can tell you, like, you're very serious. And yeah. And if you do end up participating in these and they make you drink alcohol, walk away. If they stop you, if they try to stop you, this is for the people who participate in this. If they pressure you to drink, walk away. Report this offense report it to the deans or whoever immediately. Provide with video and or audio evidence. That way they can know what's going on. Also, the biggest one ever, no booze or alcohol on college premises. None. Zip. Zero. Zilch. None. There needs to be state laws that prohibit alcohol on college grounds. Many people will sneak beer, and like, you would sneak a bottle of Dr. B in here, and then all of a sudden you would sniff it. Oh, it smells like Dr. B. What if you found out later it's actually vodka in here? But we need laws about alcohol. I mean, you look up alcohol policy on You look up alcohol policy on at colleges. So let's look at this interactive map. The NIAA College Alcohol Policies Directory. So let's look at this state. Texas. Let's go to Texas A&M University Tech, Corpus Christi. I mean, they probably have their authority, NST sanctions, student organizations. No, I don't want that. Students' disabilities. So yeah, if you're pressured to drink alcohol, take pictures, take videotape, report it to them immediately, and they will take care of it. I mean, thank God I'm not in college. And if I did go to college, I wouldn't even be here. No drugs, no alcohol on campus, none of it. None of it. And if I was there and I saw what happened, I would immediately call 911 and report that incident, and I would be a college hero. I'd get my dick sucked. Cats would bow at my feet. Perry the platypus would be even Tucker and Todd would bask in my glory. Even Ruby Dooby Doo would be going all ooh, cannot escape me. Oh my God. Sorry about that. But again, if I did that, again, I would be the town hero. I really would be. The college hero. Arrest would be made. And, yeah. Stuff really needs to stop. Stop immediately. You may have seen incidents in theme parks to where women are being told they can't wear this, either wear a shirt or leave. Coming up next, you're going to meet a woman who was on Dr. Phil talking about the fashion police and why she was asked to leave Disneyland for being out of dress code. Stay with us. Imagine going to Disneyland with your girlfriend and you found out that they're having dress code. They had dress code policies. So you go on a ride and they tell you, we're not going to let you ride on there because it's what you're wearing. Either wear a shirt or leave. And I'm like, and then you're sitting there going, what's it? What is all this? Then it's all like, well, we have a new policy. It's happening everywhere. There are dress code violations. I mean, look. This happened in August. This happened back in August. Disney's dress code continues to be violated. Fans outfit plan service can help. So we're feeling, I mean, this all happened, and we don't need to have the fashion police. I mean, this basically all started back on May. Guests asked to buy new shirt to comply with the Walt Disney World dress code viral video. There was a popular TikTok video that shows Walt Disney World guests claiming her top violated the resort's dress code. It was asked to buy a shirt to comply, according to the Fox News. Nicole de Los Reyes, who's on Dr. Phil, who wasn't on, uploaded the video. It shows her in like in a boardwalk. So she was trying to buy a shirt, or she was asked to leave. So let's hear what she has to say. And let me say this. I don't support theme parks having dress code policies. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. Let me tell you something. It's one thing for schools to have dress code policies to prevent distraction to the educational process, which is a good thing. But it's also the worst thing for theme parks to issue dress codes to female students. Listen, I have many female friends, cheerleaders, old friends from school. I respect women, no matter what. No matter what. I respect my mom who's a woman, my sister who's a woman, my sister-in-law who's a woman, my old friends from school, my old teachers who are women. They are all women. Women are human beings. We should not be judging. We should be judging people by what's inside of the person, not by what they wear. And if I saw what happened, and if I worked at Disney World and I saw this happening, I would immediately talk to either Inside Edition or 60 Minutes and say, hey, I'm talking here. Hey, I want to blow this whistle here. This needs to stop here. Blah, blah, blah. Or I would go to the media and tell the story. And they look at me and go, you blew the whistle on us? We're fired. Now, yeah, so take a look at this.
Guys, it happened. I got dress coded at Disney and I was told to leave or get a shirt. So now we're getting a shirt. I didn't do it on purpose. I like this shirt and the shirt likes me, but Disney does not. And I didn't have a problem with it. People have their opinions, people have policies. This is it. Sorry if I offended you guys.
Okay, well, Nicole, thank you for being here. So you were at Disney World, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and how far did you get?
Not far.
Did you get through the gates?
Nope. I went to go scan my ticket, and they looked me up and down and said, unfortunately, we can't let you in. Your shirt is not allowed here. You can either buy a shirt, or you can go back to your hotel and change.
Did they give a reason? I mean, was it that
There wasn't a direct reason. I knew there was a dress code. I didn't know exactly what the dress code was until I was dress coded, and I wasn't told until I posted it on social media that the reason was because it was a tie front. It was a safety hazard, that it could either get undone and flash a kid on a ride or get stuck in the ride.
So how ugly did this get in slut shaming?
Within an hour, it received thousands of views, thousands of likes, and people were so quick to assume that I was doing it for the attention, which I wasn't. I was very confident in my outfit, and same with what Nicole said, it wasn't for anybody else. I mean, I was going out to dinner with my family.
Who were you with at that time?
I was with my family too. So, I mean, I'm a very traditional Filipino household. We respect each other, and I respect myself, and people on the internet took to their assumption that.
What did you think would happen when you
what
said
about other
that?
people's feelings? You know, I have to disagree with the term slut shaming because it basically says that anybody who has a problem or concern with somebody's, private parts hanging out there is anybody who expresses a concern with that is doing something wrong. Nobody's attacking anybody's character to say.
They told her
there's
to
an
kill
appropriate-
herself.
There's we haven't. hadn't heard that, but I'm talking about in general the term slut shaming.
Yeah.
The idea that if anybody expresses a concern about how somebody's dressing in public, that it's literally sexually provocative. Let's be honest about what these clothing items do. They're sexually provocative, and to tell me just don't look at it when it's out there for the world purposely to see. Why should I have to turn my head? Why should a mother with her children out there in public have to try to avert their eyes from a woman who's got her sexual parts out there?
Do you find that where you have to avert your eyes offensive to your sensibilities?
I find it provocative, sexually provocative. I do.
I personally would wear that to Sunday brunch with my family. I mean, I was with my family.
And I've already said that I have concerns with seeing young women running around in front of their families with this. I find it inappropriate.
Should you be fashion police for her?
Define fashion police. I don't tell anybody how to dress.
What she wears.
No, I don't believe in laws. I don't believe in me controlling what anybody else is wearing. What I'm talking about is what I would hope a discussion would lead to. I'm hoping for a return to societal norms of modesty, because I feel like this is disempowering to women.
Yes, what do you want to say?
We've talked a lot about what it means to dress in a way that feels desirable and that feels attractive. And I think we've seen from all of the women that have spoken today that feeling desirable and feeling attractive does not come from external validation and what other people think, but it comes from a much more internal level. And there was something that was said about women being sexualized, and I 100% agree, women are over-sexualized. However, the solution to fixing that problem is not telling women to cover up, but telling everyone else to stop sexualizing women because of what they decide to wear.
Exactly. So are we gonna tell dogs not to bark? Are we telling dogs not to bark? Men are gonna see your sexual
Well, not
parts
all men are like that. I think you're making men into a really broad category. And to piggyback on what she said, it's really maybe a conversation that you should have mother to daughter, and expressing your fears on, what you're fearful of what that dressing will lead to, versus woman to woman and shaming someone for their outfit choices.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the...
So does Disney World, do all these theme parks have dress code policies? Stay tuned, because this is going to be heated, and I'm going to talk about it again in Rick Saturday. Don't go away. If you're joining us, we're talking about fashion police or slut shaming. The question is are you slut shaming or just asking for modesty? We looked at one woman who had a viral TikTok video who was wearing something she wasn't supposed to be wearing in a Disney World theme park. Scanning your ticket, zoop, and go. You're at dress code, go change or leave. I'll change. And so do they have a dress code policy? Proper attire, including shoes and shirts, must be worn at all times. Clothing that drags on the ground is prohibited in theme parks. Clothing with multiple layers is subject to search. We reserve the right to deny admission or to remove any person wearing attire that we consider inappropriate or attire that could be a detract from the expense of other guests. Visible tattoos that could be considered inappropriate, such as those containing objectionable language or designs, are not permitted. These are specific costume guidelines for special events such as Halloween parties. Please refer to the additional policies acceptable for those events. Costumes that are worn by theme parks may not be worn by theme parks by guests ages 14 or older. Well, okay. I mean, it's everything you need to know about their dress code. I mean, what's going to happen if you ride the teacups? Are you going to be showing your shoulders? Like, I'm not going to undress here, but let me tell you something. Imagine this. Imagine if I went on a roller coaster ride like this. Unbuttoned shirt, showing my stomach and showing my belly button. Would that create outrage? Would that be a distraction towards women? Probably so. But you get the picture here. I'm sure you get the picture here. Now, it's an example. Don't you guys go in the comments saying, "Oh, you exposed yourself." This is just for show. I mean, do other theme parks besides Disney have this sort of policy here? We don't know. But if they did, we'd be doing an experiment to find out. So, I mean, it's one thing to have dress codes in schools, but for theme parks, that is sexism. I mean, we don't want to see they don't want to see hoo-hoos and ha-has to the kids. I mean, if they want to do that's their choice. But people on social media have the right to say whatever they want. Everyone, like there's an old saying, everybody's entitled to their opinion. No matter what. And if you want to tell me, like, after what I saw over there, do I feel bad about myself for doing this? Probably not. It's just an example, alright? So, if I were to go on a roller coaster with all my shirt off, or, like if I go on a roller coaster naked, I would probably be kicked out of that place. Or better, even banned. I mean, it's worse to be dress coded in parks than to be... It's worse to be dress coded in Disney World than be sent to jail or kicked out. That what happens to you? Feel free to go on social media and let them know what happened, and it's viral, this and this, and you could be a hero. And even, especially, Mickey would hear this. He'd be like, "Oh, no, sir. I want the dress code policy back." Gosh, I don't want to see a woman's breast. That's my goofy impression. I'm sorry. Look, I'm gonna be like, we shouldn't be treating women like objects. We're human. We're human. We're all human beings. Like I said, we judge a person by what's inside, not by what they wear. So if you judge me by wearing 2 button-down shirts, I mean, I wear what I want to wear. Like when I went to school, you had a dress code. And when I was in 3rd grade through 8th grade, you had to wear a spiritual, otherwise you could be dress code. And that's the rules that's the school rules. That's against the school rules. You need to be wearing a spiritual or this and that. And if you go to high school, you wear whatever you want, but you have restrictions. This is just unacceptable behavior. So, yeah, I'm very sick of this. So, we're going to talk about this again on Give Me a Break Saturday night. So, here's a preview. Because I support all women who wear they want to wear. If they want to expose themselves, it's their choice. But I support all women, no matter what.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I like this shirt, but Disney does not.
You were at Disney World. Did you get through the gates?
They looked me up and down and said, unfortunately, we can't let you in.
Slut shaming.
She was asked to cover up for wearing this sexy top.
She's like, you can't board the plane.
I can't go anywhere where I am not having hiney shoved in my face. I see it all the time. Don't look at it.
Clothing is power for women.
Nobody's attacking anybody's character.
They told her to kill herself. Andrea,
That's tomorrow. It's a whole half hour throughout slut shaming, sexism, slut shaming, fashion police, whatever you want to call it. I believe that together, will put an end to this. And hopefully teach Disney and airports, let's wear whatever the hell we want to wear instead of someone enforcing policies. I know there's an old saying, no shoes, no shirt, no service. That's the rules. But when I go on a ride would I be sitting next to a woman on a ride who would expose her breasts? Yes. Would I ride next to a woman who exposed her shoulders? Yes. I'm not a pig. I'm a human being. As a human being, I have the power to look away. As a human being, look at my eyes. We all have eyes. They look left, they look right, they look up, they look down, they look at a camera. We have the power with our eyes to look away. You got a lot to learn about what it means to use your eyes. And if you think that not using your eyes is good enough to stand up here and say, well, it's just what we want to do. We don't care if you like this shit. You know, you have to respect every single woman, every female on this planet. And if there's anyone who I expect to respect all women, there's anything worse is to be accused of sexism. That is sexism. That violates the law. It's an acceptable behavior. It needs to stop. And that's Give Me a Break for this Friday going to Saturday. We will see you again for Give Me a Break Saturday night. And for all of us here at Give Me a Break on YouTube, stop bullying, speak up. And also, zero tolerance on sexism and slut shaming and fashion policing. Good night, everyone.